Troublesome times are here, feeling in touch with fear. Freedom we hold dear, now is at stake. Humble your heart to God, save from the chastening wrong. Seek the way pilgrims trod, Christians away. My Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon.
Thanks for joining us. If you live in the inner city of Nashville, or if you've lived in the inner city of Nashville, you know my next guest. Our guest this time is Sherry Reed. Sherry, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, Sherry, I want y'all to understand as you watch this show, Sherry doesn't want to be on this show. Sherry does not want to be interviewed. She just does not want to talk. And when we turn the camera off, she just starts, talks all the time. I've known Sherry for a long, long time. You've been with us. When did you start with us?
1979.
You were just a mere child, wasn't you?
Absolutely, robbed the cradle.
Why did you come to inner city to work? You had a good job. Why did you give that up and come to inner city?
I came in to work on a bus route one night. It was just something to do to serve God, and I fell in love with the kids, and then I fell in love with the parents and the community. I just fell in love with the city.
You have an unusual personality. A lot of people love the Lord, but you are the person, and like I say, you've been with me a long time, and let me set this up this way. Sherry's personality is such that she doesn't want to do things for herself. She wants to. Sherry makes me look good. I can go out and do something and give the task to Sherry, and Sherry will do it, and I get all the credit, and people think I've done a good job, and Sherry's one that does it. Sherry's behind the scenes person, and you enjoy doing that.
I do.
Makes no sense to me, but it works well for you, doesn't it?
I guess it does.
I had a funeral one time that you was on vacation, and this family had some difficulties in some of the people in the family.
Yeah.
And I was going to pull this family, I had to do this funeral. And when I looked up, you'd come back from vacation and walked in. And when I looked up and saw you walking in the funeral home, I went, "Phew, Sherry's here, everything's going to be okay." You serve people way beyond, you serve them beyond the call. You really care about serving people. Now you can talk. That's what you're here for. I'm not supposed to talk. You're supposed to talk.
Well, people have so many things going on in their lives, so many hurts, so many hopes, so many dreams. Some of them get busted. And I just keep trying to encourage people to dream their dreams and do what they need to do and to grow closer to God, because they can have all the things in the world, but if they don't understand what God's going to do for them, then they're not getting anywhere. I know the other day I was working with a young man, and he was trying to get a CDL. He came to Sam's class, did well.
Sam's one that teaches a class for the ministry, trains CDL drivers every week. Go ahead.
And his supervisor had come to me and asked me, what's going on with the guys who took the CDL classes? There were 10 of them that came from Gray Line to take the class. I said, "I don't know, but I'll check on it." And so when I saw him one night, I asked him, he says, "Ma'am, it's going to cost me $400 to get the DOT physical. I can't afford that, and then I've got to pay for my license." I said, "It shouldn't cost that much. I've never heard of DOT physical costing that much." So I did some research, and the average DOT license was $67, and the license itself was like $47 if you
the
failed
physical
it.
$67.
Yeah, the physical $67, and the test was like $47. $6 was the application fee. The rest of it was for the test. And so I gathered all the information up. I called the supervisor back, and I said, "This person thinks," and he has a family, he doesn't make that much money, he doesn't think he can take the physical and be able to afford to pay for it because it's going to be $400. She goes, "No, we pay for all that." So I told her all the information I'd gathered up, and she says, "I'll have his supervisor talk to him about getting his physical and getting him into the position he wants." And I spent 30 minutes talking to the young man, trying to explain to him that, if you don't take chances now and make sacrifices now, make commitments now, you're going to wake up 10, 20 years from now and you're still going to be washing buses, or you're going to be flipping a burger. You're not going to have the job that you want, making the money that you want. You're not going to have the life you want. So you're going to have to stop now and go forward.
See, you do that so well. You touch the people's lives that's hurting, and you touch them in a very special way. And time doesn't mean anything to you, does it?
No.
you'll come to work early in the morning and work on up all night long. You're just as happy at 2 o'clock in the morning working as you are. That, you know, one of the things that's always, and I went to one of these personality classes where they was trying to teach me about my personality and make me a better person. I don't know how successful they were, but I went to the thing. But they're talking about people with your personality. You're task oriented. You're not a start and finish. You just do the task, and that just drives me nuts. I couldn't do that, and you do it so well. I've seen things that you do. For example, that somebody would have a person shot in the family, and you'd go visit the family, but you would take stuffed animals with you for the little bitty kids.
Take food for the family, because if they're sitting there at the hospital waiting room, they can't afford to go down to the cafeteria and buy something, because not that the hospital means for it to be expensive, but that's more money than that family has to spend.
Yes, it is.
Well, you pay for your convenience there too, but they don't have the money to pay for those conveniences. And I know one of my kids' mother had heart surgery, and when I showed up that morning, I brought in, there was, I guess, 20 people in the waiting room. I just took 20 or 30 sausage and biscuits, and they just had, they were just in shock that somebody took the time to bring them something to eat and some tissues, because they didn't know if that lady was going to make it through surgery.
You're the only person I've seen show up at a funeral and bring an armful of tissues with you to the funeral, which makes perfect sense to me, but I'm just not that thoughtful. You are thoughtful of other people, and you serve people. I will stand back sometimes, I don't want to like force myself on them, and you just walk right on in and start loving people and helping people, and they respond very well to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to be good to everybody and do the right thing to everybody. Sometimes it's not the right decision or the right, I don't know how to say it, how to go about doing it right. You just step forward and let God take the lead. Yeah.
Let God, just love.
Yeah.
Love always works.
Yeah.
And I preach it. Don't do a good job living it, but I preach it.
You'd be surprised.
You have always, on our staff, taken on the big task that I needed somebody to do that I couldn't get done right, and you'd step forward, whatever it was, you'd step forward. You've been everything from secretary to, you're like Betsy. Betsy was secretary, bookkeeper, you name it, she did it, and you're in the same boat. But you've really done well in reaching and taking on big tasks, and now you're managing our thrift store.
Yeah.
That was a biggie, wasn't it?
That was, yeah, I went through a couple of months of depression there, because I was used to being on the street all the time, working with people, and now all of a sudden I'm in a store. Got to make the store make money, but I got to work with the people. You use money, you use items, but you don't use people. And you try to teach them the same skills, and so many people are so much after them what's good for themselves at that time. You've got it's hard to kind of divide it all up and be the bad guy sometimes, because some people don't know anything about coming to work on time, giving notices when you're not going to be there on time, and you have to make decisions because that store has to run. If it doesn't have people in it, then it's not going to make money, and I can't close the doors because we've got to have the money coming in.
So it's a managing job is difficult for you.
I don't like being the bad guy sometimes.
Why our thrift stores? It's what is it, 608 Shelby?
Yes.
It's a good store.
One of the best kept secrets in town.
It is. It is.
And it has the best merchandise, the best prices. I've got people that will come in to buy items to refurbish their apartments, the rich and the poor. I've got one lady to tell me that her apartment is now a home because it looks like a home. You know, in the projects there's like brick walls, and in her apartment now she's got a pretty couch, she's got pictures on her wall, and she got all this stuff from the thrift store.
You know, we used to give that stuff away, and that had a downside. It costs us just as much money to give it away as it does to sell it in the thrift store. It costs us more money actually, because you have to have somebody to go get it, load it, transfer it, unload it, the fuel to get it there and everything. It costs you just, you know, benevolent work is really expensive. But it seems to me, and you can comment on this, it seems to me the people that buy it in the thrift store appreciate it more than the ones we used to give away.
Well, it has value to them, and they've put value on it by putting $1 or something they put great value into in getting it. We help protect their dignity, we respect them, and it gives them an opportunity to pick out the things that they want, not just what we dig out and give to somebody.
I think that's one of the big things. They can find what fits their family, because if we're giving stuff away, we're giving them stuff away, and it may not be what they need.
Or even what they want.
What they want, I should say, what they want. But if they can come and pick, and then you go with that they get the item they need, or the item they want.
Needed won't go in the same category. I mean, almost in the same category. Because if you have somebody that doesn't have anything, they're trying to make their home look good, and they've got children, they're trying to take care of their children. They want their children to look nice and have nice things, but they can't afford them. And then you turn around and you've got, like this one lady came in the other day, she had like 2 or 3 kids, she'd just gotten her apartment. She had she says, I've got $5 in my pocket, I've got 3 kids. I know I can't buy very much for these kids, but they need some school clothes. I said, go out there and find what you want. We're going to make that $5 work.
See, now that's what I love about you, and that's what's good. And if you're watching the show, think you're going to go over and con Sherry, forget it, because she'll sort through you somewhere. You may con her once, but you won't con her twice, and you don't want to do God that way. And so if you're a rip-off artist and you're trying to con somebody, have that. That'll be between you and God. We ain't going to worry about you. But Sherry does a lot of ministry to people. That lady, her children now can go to school.
Yeah.
Because I remember a case you told me one day, and it stayed with me, and I wish you hadn't told me, but you was over in one of the communities, and you went to this house, and a little child was up, 1st grader, digging through a stack of dirty clothes in a room full of adults that were asleep, trying to find clothes to put on to catch a bus to go to school.
Yeah, and knowing the child was going to get in trouble when he got to school because he would be late or wouldn't be as clean as he needed to be. And you know, I think so much for our teachers that will help pick up the distance. You know, there's kids that come to school and they know the kid's going to get picked up and made fun of, so they have like clean clothes set aside so that they can give the child some clean clothes to wear for the day. And it's almost like every other day they have to do that. And it's sad that some of the parents don't take enough responsibility, take enough care to present their children in a loving type way. Not that they're not loved, they just are irresponsible in many cases and got so many demons around them.
I had a child that was not being able to go to school clean, and I was working with that child, and so the parent got it together, and now the child goes to school clean, hair fixed and all this stuff. And that child told me one day, there's some children in my class that come to school and they smell. And it wasn't a year ago that child smelled, but she was so proud that she could go to school looking good and feeling good about herself. That's so important. And our thrift store is devoted to doing that. If a family is struggling out there and don't have money, they can come see you, and you'll do the best you can to help that family.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. As a thrift store, we get so much stuff given to us, and I so appreciate the things that were given to us, particularly when they're in good, clean, working order. But there's still a group of folks who will send me things that really should have gone to the garbage.
Right.
The clothes are raggedy, the furniture's falling apart, and yes, if you don't have, that's better than having nothing. But I try to make sure that everybody comes to that store is going to get something they're going to be proud of when they go home with it.
You don't sell anything that's got a stain on it.
Now, if they find a stain on it and it's on the rack, I'll say, if you want this for free, you could have it. If not, it's going to the garbage can, because I don't want you to take something home and be disappointed in it.
Right.
If it's got a zipper broke on it or button missing on it, you know, just because a person's poor doesn't mean they don't care about what they have and what they wear. They're very picky. And I think the benefit of the thrift store is we used to give bunches and bunches of stuff away, and a lot of it used to get wasted. Or somebody would be starting an apartment and they would come and say, I need furniture, and we would take a bed, we would take whatever they needed, and about 2 months later somebody would be picking it up off the curb because they left it when they lost their apartment. And now when they come and buy something, we don't pick it up off the curb.
They move it with them.
They move it with them.
That's right. That's a big step, because it goes back into pride. It's theirs. They
It's
own it. They
theirs.
can take care of it. You have some very good merchandise. People give. You got everything in the store, just about, haven't you?
I have. I've had some name brand furniture, name brand clothing, shoes. It's amazing what people decide they don't want anymore. It's made me look twice when I go shopping that I don't pay $20 for something and turn around and give it away or charge $1 for it for somebody else to enjoy.
My wife went to the thrift store. Her television went out. We'd had this thing for years and years and years. And so she went to the thrift store and bought one for $25 and took it home, and she didn't realize it, but she bought the same television we'd had. It was the same model, same, the remote even worked. Set that thing in there, and I didn't realize she had changed televisions, and she told me she had, and for $25. So another television went out the other day, and she said, "Is that the $25?" No, $25 is still working. We've had it for 2 years now, and it's still, every day, it's just firing away doing good. So that's a good investment on a television that works for 25 bucks. And you've got a lot of things that you sell, and I know people come there and actually do Christmas shopping with you.
They do. We're even going to have a Black Friday this year.
Really?
Yep. Everything in the store from.
Now this will play after that date.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're not live. See? So tell us about it anyway. You'll do it next year.
Well, Black Friday, they're going to come in, and from like 10 o'clock to 12 or 1 o'clock, everything in the store is going to be half off. So if you wanted a good deal,
it's cheap now.
It's cheap now, but you're going to be walking out the door almost just giving it to you.
My goal was to have the cheapest thrift store in Nashville.
You've done it.
Most inexpensive thrift store in Nashville. And it is, Ms. Cheap said it was best prices around, I believe what she said on things like that. It's really doing well, and it's helping a lot of families. And the thing about, you told me about the grandmother that came and brought her grandkids with her, and you was watching as she was shopping, and you could tell she was counting her pennies because she didn't have enough money to go. And you told them to go pick out what they needed, what they wanted, go get it and bring it to the counter, and they brought it. You told them thank you for stopping by, and you sent them on the way, and said they were crying when they went down the steps.
Well, I mean, like that story, I also had a lady that had just lost her job, and she goes to one of the churches here in Nashville somewhere. I don't know which one it was, didn't really care to ask because she was kind of upset. But she got on the bus and she came to the thrift store, and she came in, she looked around, she says, "Do you work here?" And I said, "Sure." She says, "Can I sit down and talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Sure." And so we had a couch sitting there. I pulled over and sat down with her, and she said, "I just lost my job." I said, "I don't really need anything here, but I lost my job, and I don't have anybody to talk to." So we sat there in that store, we cried and we prayed, and I picked up a few things that she could use, and I had a little food pantry there, and I fixed her up a box of food, put her and the stuff in the van, and I took her home, and she cried all the way home because somebody had time to sit down and listen to her hurt.
We don't do that in America anymore, you know.
You don't care.
And Jesus said, "Love your neighbors yourself," and that's what you were doing. And I say all the time, you've heard me preach it 1,000 times, that we keep Jesus shut up inside the church building instead of getting out in the community and loving people. And with this thrift store, it's a place of love.
It is, and I try to make sure every one of the team members expresses that type of love, that they do whatever they can to help somebody. They don't point, well, something's over there. They take them to that article or that room and show them what's there. You know, if we sense they don't have quite enough money, we negotiate with the person, make sure they get the best price of what they can get. And things are already economically priced, and we've had things so cheap. I had a lady come in one day. I was trying to do a promotion, and she was writing down, "Well, how much does this cost here?" And she started laughing at me. I said, "Well, what's so funny?" She says, "You can't sell this stuff? This is the cheapest stuff I've ever seen." Because at that time I had some clothes marked 25 cents a piece, and she could not believe she'd walked in a store and then we would sell something so cheap. And she laughed at me.
I remember, I've been there before, and people be walking out with trash bags full of stuff.
Oh, yes.
And you may have taken in $10, and you were selling so much stuff that they literally carried it out in a trash bag.
We still keep small white trash bags at the counter, because a lot of times people come in and start finding clothes that fit, and the prices are right, sales going on right, and they'll fill a bag up fast, and it helps them and helps us out too.
One of our young men came to church one Sunday, and he was in the foyer. Man, he was wearing a black three-piece suit. He looked like $1 million. And I said, "Man, you got your job?" And he does. He does have a job. He's out working. He's trying to take care of his child. He's doing good. And he said, "Thrift store, brother, thrift store." And I think he gave $5 for his suit or something like that. And man, he looked like a lawyer, boy. He was really looking good. And for people that can, a friend of mine went in the thrift store one day shopping, and he took it wasn't our thrift store, it was another thrift store. He took his coat off and laid it down to try on these other coats. In the meantime, an employee came by and picked up his coat. And so he got ready to go. He'd lost his coat. He goes back the next week and buys his coat back. So some people just shop at thrift stores, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, poor Valerie, I'm always telling them, don't leave your bag laying around.
Now,
Don't
she's an
leave.
employee.
She's one of my team members. And don't leave your jacket laying around. And I remember picking up a jacket thinking, that feels familiar. But the lady, she laid her jacket over a chair, and this lady walked through and bought it. And we're looking all over the store for a thrift store. All over the store trying to find her jacket. At the end of the day, we couldn't find it. And so I finally had to pull another jacket off the rack. I said, here, take this one home. If we don't find it, you at least got a coat to wear.
Tell Valerie we appreciate her donating her
It
clothes.
was a
to
sweet
cause.
donation.
It's good. She'll appreciate that. What do you wish people knew about the thrift store? 608 Shelby.
608 Shelby. We're open from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. It's probably one of the best places to shop to get the best value of something. We have a little bit of everything. It's the people there you're going to find are going to be caring people. They're going to want you to have the best of what you can get for the best price you can get.
Now, if a family's out there, if you don't shop for thrift stores, but you want to help a family, you know there's a family really in need, and you want to go load that family up and bring them over there, if they'd come and tell you what they're doing, you'll help them outfit that family, won't you?
Yeah, I've had several people come from where another church had referred them, but they don't tell me that until after they've left, and I've not been able to bless them as much as I could have blessed them because I didn't know that one of our sister churches was trying to help them. But what was really funny, though, the other day is we had one of the old members of the church, still has his keys to the church. He goes to a grocery store nearby.
Now, the thrift store is located in what was the Eastview Church of Christ
Right,
building. That's what you're
right.
talking about, the Eastview Church, okay?
He still had all of his keys, and most of them worked still.
Okay.
But he went to the grocery store, and this lady that he met, he knows, cashier or something, she had just moved. She had lost a lot of her stuff. They dropped her television, broke it, and there's just a whole bunch of damage, and she just was moving with just about nothing. He came over one day. He said, what can we do for this lady? And I said, well, let's see, what do you need? And we started making a list of what she needed, and then we walked around the store, tried to match up the list, and we put prices down, and I gave him good prices. And he says, I'm going to bring her over here and let her pick out what she wants.
That's good.
And that way, he had already done a preliminary plan, but he also brought her to kind of give the approval of what he was willing to buy her. And she was just as happy as all get out because she got all the things that she needed.
Now, any family that's burned out in a fire, if they'll just come and let you know that they've been in a fire and lost everything, you'll turn them loose and let them shop.
I need for them to bring some type of letter from the apartment complex there or whoever they rent from or the fire department to prove that, because what happened, we had a big fire. It went through one of the apartment complexes and we were helping people. And believe it or not, when you try to help people, you always have somebody that's going to abuse it. And we had people coming in that didn't even live there. They were saying they lived there and had lost everything. We were trying to help them too. And some people that had several members of the family, they would kind of come in and try to overlap to. And it's sad. You're trying to basically just about give them what they need. We allowed them to purchase things, but it was discounted severely.
Well, in some cases, we've given it to them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
particularly
well,
clothing.
yeah.
Particularly clothing.
And it's now, if somebody wants to donate something to your thrift store, they need to bring it. We stopped picking up because we can't afford the gas to go pick it up, and they just bring it to you at 608.
Bring it at 608.
But you want it between hours. You don't want it sitting on the front porch when you get there.
Oh no, it's so frustrating for somebody to sit something on the front porch and we come in the next morning. Some of it was good stuff. It either got rained on or some homeless people ripped through it, or maybe some children ripped through it, and it's all over the front lawn and on the street. And it makes us look bad, and it
Makes the community look bad.
Yes, it does.
And the community don't appreciate that. Now, when you have people give more stuff than we can sell. We got 4 minutes to go. What do you do with your overruns?
Try to respect and honor everything that people have given us. A lot of our clothing we have sent to the Philippines through Souls for Souls. We have a lot of stuff that we've pulled off the rack that's been there for a long time. It's all good merchandise. I don't know that I've sent them anything that would be embarrassing for somebody to wear, but we bag that up and we send that to them, and it goes to different disaster areas. I try to find a place that will recycle computers and stuff, and please don't send me broken computers because that's not our main goal.
That's right. We don't want broken computers. We've got enough of those things in our offices. So when people donate stuff, if you can't sell it or if people don't buy it, you move it on to
I try
other
to find a
charities.
resource that it's going to go to that's going to benefit somebody. I don't want anything wasted.
Your staff were people that come to for the community, came and work with them in this job training program, and they're doing a good job.
They're doing a very good job.
And helping people, and they need to be, some of them need to be leaving us and going on and going into full-time work somewhere.
They do, but they believe in what we're doing so badly, they just don't want to leave the thrift store. I mean, it's a good job. I mean, for them to work, I agree with that. I wouldn't be there if I didn't think it was a good place to work. But they're attached to it. They have the heart for it, and they just don't want to leave it.
So now you're comfortable in the thrift store after I took you off the street? And
Yeah,
put you in the
I went
thrift
through a
store.
little depression, but I'm okay now. Now when you talk about taking me out of the thrift store, sometimes I'm like, oh no, I've gotten adjusted.
Well, you've done it well. That day will come. We'll sell that piece of property and move somewhere else, but that's just what happens in life.
God has a plan. He's in control.
He's in control. We've got 2 minutes. Talk to a family, a mother out there that's struggling, Sherry, that's the type of person. See, Sherry's the only person I know in Nashville that when they tore down the Settle Court housing project, she sat outside and cried because you'd worked Settle Court for years and years and years. You know it needed to go, but you sure had a lot of memories in that place, didn't it?
I did.
Talk to families. Tell me something. Tell a mother out there something. Give her some hope. We got about a minute to go.
As bad as life can seem to be, whether you're employed or unemployed, whether you like your job or don't like your job, the kids are always going to be there. The house can get dirty, but the kids are still going to be there. Just love the kids, love God, teach them to do right, and eventually things are going to happen. They're going to improve. If you make steps go in the right direction, things will change. If you just sit back and let the world control you, and don't make any changes, nothing's going to happen.
One change, one thing at a time.
Yeah,
Start making
one
changes,
step.
and if you take, what'd you say? Life steps?
Little baby life steps.
Little baby life steps, and start making changes in the way you do business, and your life can be blessed. There's people around here in town, and they can come by the thrift store and see you.
Oh, gladly see people.
And they can come and shop, but they can also come by and just visit with Sherry and her team there to be encouraged. Sometimes we just get shut up and shut out, and we get really brokenhearted. I tell you what, you go by and spend some time with Sherry. This lady, you touch her heart, you'll touch the heart of God, because she really knows how to love the community. She knows how to love her neighbor, and she's been a real strength to our team. And we're proud to have her on our team. Got many more years to go, Lord willing. And but go by our thrift store, 608 Shelby. Stop in there and visit with Sherry and buy a bunch of stuff. Bring 50 cents so you can buy half the store out. And we thank you for tuning in. And Sherry, thank you for talking. You did good.
Well, thank you.
It's over now. You can relax.
Sometimes I hear feeling in touch with fear. Freedom we all hold dear. Now is that stay. Humble your heart to God. Save from the chastening rod. Seek the way pilgrims trod. Christians away. My Jesus is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. Many will meet their doom. Trumpets will sound, and all of the dead shall rise. Righteous me in the skies. I'm going where no one dies. Heavenward bound. Well, troubles will soon be o'er. Happy forevermore. When we meet on that shore, free from all care. Rising up in the skies, sailing this world.